The day I stepped back into my childhood home felt like an exhumation. I could almost hear the echoes of my family's laughter, their derision swirling around me like a thick fog. "Botanical paranoia, investigator," they had scoffed. "You'll lose your mind, disgrace the family." Each remark had been a blade, chipping away at my sanity as I plunged deeper into the world of invasive, sentient plants, the very existence of which they had deemed insane. But they were wrong. Oh, how wrong they were. After my dismissal from the lab, a culmination of my own frantic, desperate research leading to a hallucinatory outbreak that left colleagues questioning their grasp on reality, I had only one path left. I dove headfirst into the shadows, where the roots of my obsession twisted into something darker, more profound. Each expedition brought back knowledge that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Secrets whispered to me through the rustling leaves, their voices beckoning me deeper into the soil of their ancient madness. Years passed, and with them, the mockery faded into silence. I carved my niche into the world of paranormal botany, earning respect from those who once laughed. I was no longer a disgraced family member. I was a warning. The truths I uncovered became the stuff of nightmares, and now I was ready to confront my family with what I had become. As I drove through the familiar streets, the weight of their disbelief pressed heavily on my chest. Each house looked smaller than I remembered. The world outside my window reduced to shades of grays and greens, as if everything were wilting beneath the burden of the truth I carried. I parked in the driveway, the gravel crunching like brittle bones beneath my feet. The familiar scent of blooming lilacs, once comforting, now twisted in my gut. They welcomed me with a hesitance that felt almost like an embrace of the past, a weak acknowledgement of the person I had once been. My mother's eyes were wide, a mixture of fear and curiosity. My siblings exchanged uncomfortable glances, as if my presence were a ghost returning to haunt them. "You look different," my father ventured, his voice trembling slightly. "Things change," I replied, a smile creeping onto my lips, something sinister lurking just beneath. I had brought gift samples from my latest research. I laid them out on the kitchen table, roots and leaves. "They've seen the world far beyond what we understand." Laughter erupted, a cacophony of disbelief. "This again?" my brother sneered, rolling his eyes. "You're serious? You've become a full-blown lunatic." But I stayed calm, the darkness within me rising like smoke. "You'll see," I murmured, almost to myself. "You'll all see." That night, as we shared a tense dinner, the air grew thick with unspoken words. I watched them, how they pretended to engage in small talk, their eyes darting to the plants like they were venomous snakes. I felt the roots of my obsessions crawling beneath my skin, whispering secrets only I could hear. And then it happened. The lights flickered, and a chill swept through the room, as if a ghost had passed through. I sensed the plants stirring, their energy pulsating, vibrating in sync with the tension in the air. "It's just a storm," my mother said, attempting to mask her fear. But I could see it in her eyes, the dawning realization that something was terribly wrong. The glass containers began to rattle on the table, and the plants inside twisted and contorted, their roots escaping the confines of glass as if desperate to break free. I rose from my seat, heart pounding. "They want to be heard," I cried out, the words slipping from my lips like a chant. "They want you to listen." Panic erupted around me. My sister screamed, a sound that echoed like a gunshot, but it was too late. The room filled with a rich, loamy scent as the roots began to entwine around their ankles, pulling them closer, wrapping them in a grip that felt almost loving. "Stop it!" my brother yelled, struggling against the growing mass of greenery. But the plants only responded to their fear, the whispers growing louder, the voices of the earth demanding recognition. And then their faces changed. Horror morphed into understanding as they realized the truth. The very essence of what I had tried to warn them about was now alive before them. They could see it, feel it, and for the first time, they were no longer mocking. They were terrified. "Please," my mother cried out, her voice cracking with desperation. "We believed you. We do now." But it was too late. The roots tightened, and I felt their energy coursing through me, a shared consciousness binding us all. I watched, almost in slow motion, as the realization hit them. The cost of their disbelief was far greater than they could have imagined. The very thing they had ridiculed was real, and I was no longer just their failed child. I was the vessel of their reckoning. As the roots pulled them deeper into the earth, choking on their own fear, I stepped back, heart racing, feeling the weight of their shame and regret wash over me. I had become what they feared most, a harbinger of truth. In the end, I walked away from my family's cries, leaving them ensnared in the very darkness I had embraced. I was free, bearing the chilling knowledge of what lay beneath the surface. The roots whispered their secrets, no longer just to me, but now to all who would dare to listen. And as I closed the door behind me, I felt a strange comfort in knowing that I had finally become the truth they could no longer deny.